What's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video. For this video, we're going to be going over the brand new global launch date for the global version of 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. So, guys, we're going to be talking about all the things that I know about the launch for 7 Deadly Sins. We're talking about some of the things that you wanted to know as you start the game, and we're going to be watching, of course, the cinematic trailer and everything below that, and all the fun stuff in between. So, I'll also go over some of the things that I wish I had done when I started the game, and some of the things that I hope you don't miss out on when we start the game. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross and what's going to be happening in the launch for Global in 7 Deadly Sins. So before we do that, we're going to go ahead and watch this very short clip that was tweeted out by the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross from Netmarble. This is going to be in the description below, so if you need to have this video, it's right down there. Let's check it out. Pretty much exactly the same. There's almost no difference from when it came out on Mount Live. So overall, I'm super excited for this. It's coming out, as you saw here, on March 3rd, 2020. It's going worldwide, cinematic anime game. They have everything here. It is fantastic. I've been playing this game for about 8 months now, and I can definitely tell you, right now we have the Esterosa banner that I left on the screen that just came out to the Japanese version, and we've been playing that, and there's tons of other units that are going to be available. There's lots of different things that you may need to know about 7 Deadly Sins, but before we go into that, let's go over some of the things that you need to know as you start the game for 7 Deadly Sins, and we're talking about all the fun things that they've come out with. So also in the description down below, we're going to have a link to the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross webpage. This is Netmarble's webpage, an official webpage for the game. It talks about the game. And you can kind of see in the background down here, there is Deanne, as well as King and all the Sins fighting against what is a Crimson Demon, which is one of the demons that comes later in the game, probably about 2 months into the game, I want to say. And this demon also unlocks level caps for level 75 and level 80. And he is a very, very cool unit to fight. As far as bosses go, he's not incredibly difficult, but as time goes on, for higher difficulties, he can be very difficult to fight against, depending on your box and overall kit. But in the pre-registration here, we have 7 Deadly Sins is now on mobile. Join them in the cinematic anime game. Pre-register now. The pre-registration rewards will be provided after the official release date. They're going to be Meliodas' costume, the Dagger of the Pledge, SR Meliodas, 30 diamonds, which is basically a 1 multi, it says here, and 100,000 gold. All of these are very, very good, and I'll go over why. So the costumes, you may say, oh, cosmetics, they're not that big of a deal. I don't really need to look cool, but they're actually kind of a big deal. In 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, costumes are actually something that provides stats to your characters, and each one of the costumes can provide defensive stats, health stats, or attack stats. So you're definitely going to want to have that costume. Inside, I have it here. Right now, it provides 180 defense to my character, gives me 3 extra endurance or patience. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And of course, critical chance resistance. The weapon that you get is also going to give you a 180 attack, 3 penetration damage, which is basically the counterpart to endurance, makes it so that it will be fixed damage on top of your normal damage, and then it'll have 1% critical chance. So all of these things will actually factor into your characters, and you can stack up to 5 total weapons, headpieces, as well as defense items per character. So it is very valuable to have them. And if you're missing these, you can see that I have an extra 2,870 HP, but if I did add in another costume, I would gain another 1,400 HP to my character. That is transferable a bunch of Meliodases throughout the game. So definitely really, really important to pre-order now, because getting these on the Japanese version, and I believe the Korean version, we got these for free and they just came to us, but global version is a pre-registration reward. Please make sure to pre-register. It is a huge thing to get these, because they will give you a noticeable stat boost to your characters on one of the best early game starting units. 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross New. There's not a ton of things here. It goes over story, the characters, content, and community. For the characters, I don't think this is going to be super helpful. There's going to be Elizabeth and Hawk. It was a great unit. Meliodas, Deanne. They don't really go over the units, but there is another website that will do that. I'm going to be having this link in the description below as well. It's going to be for GC database. This is the database that we're currently using. There is another one is sdsgc.gg, and this database also has everything. Unfortunately, it's not as up to date, but when I've been in conference with both of the database creators right now, and they say they're both trying to update the database consistently. The GC database is updated more regularly, so please, if you wanted to use that one, that's the one I'm currently using more of because of how often it's updated. And these are where you can figure out what each character does. Now, unfortunately, guys, both of these databases are going to be incorrect for the global launch date. And the reason they're going to be incorrect is because 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross changes the statistics of the characters by increasing different substats, different base stats, etc. for different characters throughout the content in the game. So the stats portion of where the characters are, even the some of the abilities are going to be either probably lower than they are on launch. If they decide to roll characters in with these stats initially, that could be something that the global version can have over the Japanese or Korean version, which would be a very big beneficial thing. But right now, we just got the most recent character update, and let me see. Yep, right here. Okay, so on the no, actually, this is not here. I'll have to go to the Reddit. The most recent update for 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, we actually do get character updates, and each of these character updates are going to change the way character statistics work. So this is a huge thing that this gacha game does in comparison to other gacha games. Go over here. I am opening it up. It says we're actually getting changes to blue SR Hauser, green SR Hauser, both of the Hausers, and of course the SSR version of Hauser. Now, all 3 of these characters are getting a stat boost, and they're boosting their base health, their base stats, their penetration rate, their patience rate. It's different things throughout the game, and these updates have happened consistently throughout the game, probably at least once a month, maybe even twice a month, depending on how often they want to update characters and balance them. So the characters in question are these Hausers down here. These guys have gotten updated. Also, the Griamores just above them have gotten updated as well. So these characters, all of them are good in some way, so that's really, really cool. And it makes other characters that were not as good even better. So I definitely love this part of the game. The QOL in this game is awesome. Definitely recommend checking out some of the changes that they make to characters. So just know that whenever you're looking at the stat page for 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross on the SCS-GC database or the GC database, which we're on right now, the stats may be different than on global versus Japan. So they do update these regularly, and you can actually check the JP patch notes if you want to see over time where they've updated each of the individual characters and the span of that. All right, so next up, we're going to be talking about rerolls and a little bit about each individual character and what you're going to be doing and why rerolling is not important in 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. So in 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, when you start the game, you're actually going to start the game with one free multi-summon, one free singular summon, and then you're actually going to get a guaranteed sin character on your guaranteed single summon. And that guaranteed sin character is going to be any of the following. It's going to be Green Meliodas down here. This is the #1 character to for on launch. The next one is going to be Blue Gother. Sorry, I think I missed one. No, Blue Gother. He is also a good unit before. He is probably one of the best AoE characters to start with initially, but he does kind of fall off later in the game. He does have some great viability in a lot of different parts of the game, but most of which are area of effect damage based, and that may be good in for farming and lots of different content there, but those are the he has some drawbacks, some positives though. Then going after that, the other one is going to be Red Diane. This unit is very poor, unfortunately, and the reason she's poor is because she really just doesn't have a ton to offer for all parts of the game. After that, we have Green Bond, who has never, ever once been good in the game, which is very unfortunate. We have Blue Bond, who is he's actually a decent character. So as far as another character, he's probably my 3rd pick as far as sins go, for characters to reroll for if you were really willing to do so. Then we also have Blue Matrona Diane, who has only been good once and probably will only be good if we get a slime crossover with 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. So unfortunately, that may not happen. Then we also have Green Fat King, who is an underutilized unit for a lot of parts of the game because there are so many other better units in the game. He's one of the best area of effect damage farmers on launch of the game. Unfortunately, there is another counterpart to him that is a green unit that is a better area of effect farmer, and that unit you actually don't have to reroll for or pull for, which makes him kind of problematic to get. But you will get these units, so don't worry about that. Next up, this is the second best unit, in my opinion, to reroll for, which is Green Skinny King. And the reason this is the second best unit, even though he is the best unit for the longest period of time to get, is that on launch, he is not near really that good, because when you start the game with Green Skinny King, he does not have a passive ability. And I can explain that if you're a player that's been playing this game for a while, the reason I'm putting him second is because he doesn't have a passive for a very long time, and Green Meliodas is good without a passive. If you're new to this game and you're just starting out, don't worry about it. Just know that Green Meliodas is going to be much easier on start than starting with Green King. But if you're an experienced player and you're rerolling for global as well, Green Skinny King if you know what you're doing. But it's a little bit trickier to know what you're doing there. After that, for the other sins that are available, I believe that's it. I believe that's all the sins that are available. I don't think there's any other sins. If I missed one, sorry guys, my bad. It happens that way. But what's really interesting is that the reason it does not matter what you reroll for or what you get initially, the only two ones that would really matter are going to be Green Meliodas or having Green Skinny King, because after that you're going to actually get 30 gems to do a multi, and then you can try to pull for a character that you want. But what's really, really interesting is the best character that you can start with the game with is actually going to be this Green SR Elizabeth Hawk that you're going to start with. And she is the #1 character that you should be building out initially. And the reason she's the #1 character is because her damage is through the roof good. So just know that if you're like, no, she's not an SSR character, she's not that good, she's actually insane to start with. So just know you get this character as one of the first units in your box, and you get her for free. You don't even have to pull her. She's definitely worth building out. So definitely farm for her. She is awesome. She has her heyday later on in PvP, and she does extremely well in PvP when her meta comes around, and you'll know when her meta is, and it'll be very, very obvious. After that, this blue SR Meliodas you also receive as one of the starter units. He is actually very good as well, but one of the things that a lot of JP players as well as Korean players did not notice on start of this, and why everybody thinks he's very weak, is you have to use a debuff attack first if you really want him to do damage. And if you don't use a debuff attack first, he hits like a wet blanket. So definitely just remember that if you are using the blue SR Meliodas. Beyond that, not really any of the other units are really worth mentioning as far as on-launch units. Those are the ones I would really focus on, are the Green Elizabeth Hawk. That is a very, very good unit to start with and play with. But the reason it doesn't really matter what you get on your account, what you pull for, is because what you're actually going for are what is called coin shop units. And these coin shop units are free-to-play based units. They are based on how many duplicate units you have. And we're going to talk about, this is one of the main reasons that 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross is amazing. So, in most gacha games, when you pull a unit and you get a duplicate of that unit, you're like, frick, a dupe! And I don't like that because I don't need that unit. I already have that unit in my box. I don't like it. Well, in 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, you actually are in love with dupes. And the reason you're in love with dupes is because duplicate characters can be used to purchase the best characters in the game. Now, when I say the best characters in the game, they are these 7 coin shop units. There's only 6 on launch. Just remember, Escaper comes much later. There's only six on launch. The 7th one comes out much later, because you know that's how it happened in the actual show too. So just know that. All of which are amazing. The first one available is going to be Blue Skinny King, and after the first week of the game, then comes out Green Bond. Green Bond is a top tier unit on and off throughout the first 6 to 7 months of the game. It really depends on the week. I'm telling you that. It really depends on the week. Some weeks he's amazing. Some weeks he's dog crap, and it's very unfortunate. But the overall best unit in the game, no matter what, completely undisputed by every player, is Red Gother. He is the best unit in the entire game. Okay? The reason I say he's the best unit in the entire game is because you can use him for literally everything. You use this unit for everything for 6 to 7 months. Once Hell difficulty raids come out, then you start not using him as much, but for 6 to 7 months, you're using this unit for every single thing you do. Best unit, don't miss it. He comes out on the 3rd week of the game. You cannot purchase him like here for 7 rainbow coins. The entire shop has to go through an entire rotation. The first week is going to be King. Second week is going to be Bond. Third week is going to be Gother. The 4th week is going to be Deanne. You get King and Deanne for free already, so you do not need to get them. If you're a free-to-play player, you can basically skip out on getting these. After that, it's Demon Meliodas. This is a skip. I know you're going to love him. This is a skip. I'm sorry. You'll understand why when you get to that point. I'll make a whole video about that later. Then it's Merlin. Don't skip. This is the 2nd best unit in the game. Green Merlin, 2nd best unit in the game. The reason she is the 2nd best unit in the game, because just like Gother, she can be used for literally everything. So, I'll go over why, because Merlin is the best sub-character to have in your game for a very long period of time for many different teams. She's also a good support character to build out. She's also a good mainline unit. Overall, one of the best units in the game. These are the 2 you really don't want to miss. The rest of these are for duplicates and get your 1 copy, and we'll explain those as they go on. Now, gold coins and 7 deadly sins, which is also good, can also be used to purchase some of the units that you might be missing. And you'll notice that there's a whole list here. The first week is going to be Hauser. Hauser is a top tier farming unit. If you are looking for any of the units to buy in here, the only one you really should buy is Hauser. Every other one, including Slater, don't at me. If you know what I mean by including Slater, don't at me. The only one that's worth buying is Hauser. And the reason Hauser's worth buying is because Hauser has the longest longevity of any of these gold coin shop units. Every other one falls off at some point or is not as good, or you only need 1 copy of and you can pull it eventually. Don't worry, Hauser is the only one worth buying. After that, we're going to be going into the silver shop. Basically, the pull rates go like this. 3% SSR rate. I think it's 20 to 30% SR rate, and then after that it's rares out the butt. And for these rares, it's fine. If you pull a rare, it's totally fine, because what you get out of rares is called AP potions. AP potions are basically stamina potions, and stamina potions give you free stamina refills. And since you're pulling a lot and you get lots of silver coins with it, because you get lots of free-to-play gems, yeah, you get a lot of ability point potions, and you get dailies to get more of these. There's tons of different ways of collecting these in order to get yourself a lot of AP potions. So just know, when you get silvers, it's not bad. It's good, because you get free stamina. After that, we have friendship points. These are used to purchase Simon or AP potions. As you can see here, we can just buy them with friendship points we have here. Boom, boom, boom. 3 ability point potions. That's 3 full stamina refills. That's awesome. Cool. Moving on, there's PvP tickets here. Unlocks in chapter 4, so if you want to know when. And this thing, it'll look different on launch. There's only going to be 1 of these. This is going to be keys. And keys are used to get yourself SSR medals. So, when we are talking about coins in the coin shop, guys, when you start the game, there is going to be one thing you really don't want to do. You do not want to buy SR medals. You do not want to buy these. You do not want to buy tickets. They're going to look a little different than, say, SR to SSR. These ones come out later. You're not going to want to buy tickets for getting more rare recruits. You're going to want to buy these. These are the thing you want to buy with your gold coins. I know you're going to want to get these new units and you want to get all these, but the thing you want to buy with the SR ones is this. This will unlock what's called the SP dungeon. And the SP dungeon is the thing that you need to farm as a new player. And the reason you need to farm it is because the SP dungeon is where you are able to completely evolve your units to get more stats. You have to get SSR medals to do so. So on launch, you're able to farm different potions and books to get your characters leveled up. There's a gold island that's going to be available 3 times per day for 5 runs a day. And on launch, there is, of course, the SP dungeon. And this is where you're able to acquire SSR medals and SR medals to evolve your units. That is where you use your gold coins, that's where you use your silver coins, and that's what you use your rainbow coins for all your duplicate units. So guys, I hope that really helps out. But that's all I'm going to talk about for the day for this particular video. I know it's a little bit longer than I normally do for videos, but I really want to talk about the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video, as well as all the things we're doing on launch. I'm going to make a couple more videos and talk about all the fun things for 7 Deadly Sins and what's really important for rerolling, what's not important for rerolling, all the fun things there. So if you guys want to leave me a comment down below, please do so and let me know what kind of videos would be really helpful for you to see on launch. Also be going over PvP guides, etc. as well as time goes on. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please smash the like button down below. Of course, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.